Lovelies, Kelsey Ann Lovelady here with another vlog. I'm sorry if you hear any noise going on in the back. Obviously my roommate's here. And obviously I have to be quiet so I don't disturb her. I'm tired, can you tell? So here's what happened today. My grandfather needed to go back to see his doctors in the next town over, which is Cheyenne, that's an hour away from here, to get a CT scan and have a neurologist look at the CT scan and say, he's doing pretty good, he's not doing so good, you can get off medications, you can't get off medications, that stuff. That's an hour-long drive to get there. And we had to be there by 10:15. So we had to leave bright and early. First of all, my grandfather was doing everything in his power to make this trip as difficult as possible. Just being unreasonable, being confused, and just being difficult in general. And then we finally get to Cheyenne, we get there on time, we go in for the CT scan, that happens quickly, that's fine. Then we have to go see the neurologist after doing the CT scan. We waited in that exam room for 40 minutes for the doctor. And when the doctor finally came in, there was no apology, there was no explanation, there was no excuse, there was just, hi! Like, oh my god, I wanted to just I wanted to just scream. I was so fucking mad. And I was already exhausted with the whole situation. It doesn't help that it's also just hot as hell in our area right now. It got up to 90 today. I know that's not hot compared to some people. If you live in Arizona, you guys are in hell's armpit right now. But it was hot and we were waiting and it was just so fucking irritating. So we couldn't go get anything to eat because my grandfather doesn't do well eating in the car. He's super messy until after we got back to town. That's another hour drive. So to sum up, it was a 3-hour trip in total. We get home and my grandfather is still being difficult, still being unreasonable. I've talked about this a little bit. It is so fucking hard to be a caregiver when the patient won't do what the doctors and the physical therapist and the occupational therapist and everybody tells them to do. And that's my grandfather. He does not do what he's told by anybody. If he won't do it for the doctors, he sure as hell won't do it for me and my mother. And it's so frustrating because we are there, we're trying to do what we've been told to do, which is take care of him and make sure he doesn't fall and stay with him pretty much 24/7, which is really freaking hard just because of his taste in television. But when he won't do what the doctor says, we might as well just throw in the towel and say, fine, if something happens to you, it's your fault. And that's what it feels like a lot. And I just, I'm so tired. I'm so tired, I'm so irritated. And 90% of my irritation actually comes from sometimes the people who are on the medical side of this. I know that the doctors and the nurses, they're working their asses off during this really strained time. They're doing the job that nobody else will do during the COVID crisis. But what bugs me so much is that none of these doctors, none of these nurses, none of these medical staffs or experts have taken the mental health, the emotional health, and the physical health of my mother and me into consideration. They say, this is what you have to do for your grandfather. Okay, but my mom's working a full-time job so that we can have benefits, and I'm trying to find a job so I can get my adulthood started and I can have benefits after I turn 26. This is a lot to do when you're also trying to work a full-time job. Do any of them care? Fuck no. And none of them have provided any, like, mental health resources or emotional health resources. None of them have even given us any real guidance. The only one who really honestly seems to give a shit about me and my mother, who are the full-time caregivers, is the nurse who came to check on my grandfather last week, who's basically been a caregiver since she was 8. So she understands how this goes. She's the only one who has said, look, if anything is stressing you out, or if you need to talk about anything, give me a text. And that's so fucking irritating. Like, I understand this is what my grandfather needs, but they don't seem to give a damn about whether or not we can provide that, and they provide no solutions. And it's super fucking irritating. Because they're caregivers. They know how this is. They know how stressful this is. And for them, they get to eventually leave it at the door. Yeah, they work 12 shifts. 12-hour shifts. Sometimes they're on call. But they eventually get to leave it at the door so that they can go be, husbands and wives and spouses and significant others and mothers and fathers and parents and whatever. My mom and I don't get to do that. It's a 24/7 thing for my mom. And for me, it's basically I kind of work the same number of hours that a regular nurse would, but I do it every damn day. This is stressful. They should know how stressful this is. And none of them are helping, and I'm really fucking mad about it. So that's how I'm feeling today. I got none of my personal goals done for the day, and I honestly don't have the energy to do so. I kind of just want to call up my best friend. I want to see if he can Skype tonight and just talk for the rest of the evening, because he is really my center throughout all of this. So hopefully he's available. But anyways, thank you for joining me for today's video, and maybe I'll see you tomorrow.